My name is Dr. Rodney Casada. I attended Somerset Community College in the fall of 1972 and the spring of 1973. I am now presently retired chiropractor. I practiced 36 years here in Somerset.
So my name is Phillip Duncan. I attended SCC from 1987 to 1989. I've been here at East Kentucky Power as a plant manager for the past 12 years and have been with East Kentucky for 33 years now.
I'm Mark Haney. I live here in Nancy, Kentucky. I've lived on this farm my entire life.
Hey folks, my name is Marlon Hargis, and I attended SCC, I believe, starting in the fall of 1968.
Hello, my name is Kuhl, and I've moved here in London from Middlesbrough on July the 24th, 1964.
My name is Gregory Slone. I have the honor and the privilege of serving as District Court Judge for the 28th Judicial District, and I attended SCC right after I graduated from high school. So it would have been the school year of 88 to 89 and then 89 to 90.
Joanne, when I knew her, she was as an advisor, a counselor, and she also taught psychology.
Well, what I would do in between classes here, because I would like to say that we spent a lot of our time studying, but I would probably be fibbing just a little bit. We had to do that as well, but most of our time we would leave here, the ones that was on the basketball team, we would leave and go to practice or go play ball somewhere because that was our life, to be perfectly honest. You know, like I said, we came here to play basketball, but we also came here to get an education. But like I said, we spent a lot of the time in the gym and a lot of time running around with the guys that was on the basketball team because, you know, they become your brothers. And like I said, so we spent a lot of time together and running out to eat or whatever it might be. The weekends we spent time together. So it was just a great time.
Well, even though the vocational school at that time was separate from the college, they were still affiliated. So things did look different. However, the feel of the campus even today still remains the same to me because there were so many friends that I had from Monticello, from Somerset, from surrounding counties that were going there. So, you know, it was like it was just a place for all of us to meet. You know, even after class would be over with, we might meet, go to the park, or we would meet up in between classes and have lunch together. So it was a great place just to still stay in contact with your friends even after you graduated high school. And I love that family atmosphere, and I sense that is the same way even today. The kids have a place where they can come and really meet up and still socialize and not just go to class.
It was a different looking campus in those days. You know, I think it opened in '66, I think, or '65, and I was there in '68, so it was still relatively a new looking campus. Not very many buildings, still had some outbuildings, and I had some of those classes in some of those outbuildings, but it was a good experience.
And every once in a while there might be a concert or something, and there was a large kind of a conference hall, I guess you would call it. One of the first times I ever saw the group Exile, which I later joined, was at the college when they were playing there. And I happened to go to one of the, I don't know if it was actually a dance, but some kind of a little program. So that's, you know, I guess you could say that's an interesting thing.
Okay, naturally the only thing was the ponds and this building here, and of course the cooperation and the road coming in. And like I said, there used to be lines of trucks lined up to dump their coal and come in here. But naturally the ponds and the road and everything are still the same.
When I attended SCC, there were 4 buildings. There was the library, Meese Hall, Stoner, and Cooper. So the Hal Rogers Commons Center was not there, and the Blakely building was not there. And another thing that was different was that since the Commons, the Commons Center wasn't there, the student lounge was in Meese Hall, and it was in the hallway that connected the two main hallways of Meese Hall. And the bookstore was also in Meese Hall, and it was in the end of Meese Hall that's closest to the tennis courts. So you would come into that door that led down that hallway, and the first thing there on your left was the bookstore. And so back then, where the Commons area was, there were tables and chairs and ping pong and TV, I believe, and snacks, and a lot of students.
Well, SCC prepared me to continue what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something in the health field. And so when I left here, I continued taking health classes, chemistry, physics, all this fun stuff that I was soon to forget. But anyway, it was, it did prepare me to go on and to be a chiropractor. And like I said, so there I was very fortunate to be able to have the classes here that gave me the foundation that helped build on what I was going to be doing the rest of my life. And so SCC was great here. I mean, I cannot recommend this anymore, not only from the academic standpoint, but from the standpoint it gives all of us a chance. Most of us were close around here. So it gave us a chance to enjoy college life just a little bit and still be living at home.
I think SCC, what it taught me the most was how to help others be successful. The help and the encouragement that I had from the faculty and from different folks that were affiliated with the college at the time, I contribute my success to them helping me, and I think that's what overall that's what I learned while I was there. Help, whatever you can do to help others become successful and be successful. That's what we ought to do, and that's where I'm at today in the job here as plant manager at Cooper Station. My job is just to help the guys be able to succeed in the tasks that they have to perform to keep the plant reliable and available. When I look back over my career here and even where I'm at today, I think as being a board member on the college board, I can see where the team aspect, I'm still learning how to work with people and to be a good team member and to collaborate and to just to be able to network and learn, continue learning, continuous education, I think is what I'm still learning, and I attribute a lot of that to even the affiliation I have with the school today.
I think that's what SCC did for me. It got me prepared to be able to move into this business right here, be a part of the community, to be a part of a business that have been here for multi-generations, and I just think it continues to do that today. I think the community college system and KCTCS, the ability that they have, and I talk to Dr. Quarles often about this. He and I are friends, and have worked together when he was Commissioner of Agriculture and all of his role. There is such a need to be able to get the students prepared to work in that area where they live and where they go to school. And not every community it needs to be a cookie cutter system. There's things that we do here in Pulaski County and surrounding areas that is different than Owensboro or Murray or West Kentucky, and the needs are here. And I think the community college can be nimble enough to be able to supply those services as they need, and it changes. That's one of the things that I think the boat is. Once we start a career path and we fill it up, then we need to stop and do something else.
And thinking about it, SCC indirectly prepared me very well for my career. As I say, being a musician and entertainer, the fact that I worked in radio and in the newspaper, it made me aware of basically how to deal with reporters and so forth, throughout our career, because I know what they go through, and I know it from the other end. So it was a great preparation, really, for my whole career, and it still plays a great part in it.
SCC taught me things and lessons that I use to this day. For example, self-discipline, responsibility, discernment, succinct note-taking, and time management. That was the first time in my life that I had ever had somewhat of control over my schedule. I could pick the classes that I wanted to take, who I wanted to take them under, and the time slots for those classes. None of the professors ever took roll. That was something new coming out of high school, but the consequences of not going to class would be reflected in my grades. Teachers, like I just mentioned earlier, Dr. Tate, who taught or who based his exams on our note-taking, taught me to listen critically, and to take notes that were very succinct and could be easily reviewed for study purposes. And then time management, just the structure of the classes beginning in the mornings, back to back, getting done by typically noon or so, taught me how to manage time, how to focus on what the task was before me at hand, give it 100% my all, be productive, and then move on to the next task. And I find that I'm still doing these things today in my job and in life in general.
SCC being important to our education, not only in our area, but to individuals that attend here. We, like I said, we have been so blessed to have the opportunity to get a good quality education here over the years that I do not know how we would have survived as a community had we not had this. We can look at all the progress around here. We are the hub for several counties that come in to Somerset. We are a regional draw. The college is a regional draw as well. And so that helps to do that there. We are able to get our industry here. Our industry has people that are trained by the college. The students who go on either to another college or they stay here and get further training from nursing to whatever it might be. We're so fortunate to have the community college here to offer these classes that I feel like that I do not know where our community would be if we did not have the basis of the community college here today.
In serving as a member of the Somerset Community College board, I really am excited to see how what the college does in training and teaching the young people in our community, and seeing how they grow and seeing the economic impact that brings to our community. Knowledge is power, right? So if knowledge is power, we have the power through the mechanisms at the college, through the faculty, to be able to bring the entire community together to grow both personally and economically. And I think that's very important to our community, to try to keep to keep the community viable. We have to try to keep our best talent here locally, and to attract them to stay or to come back to this community. And there's purpose here, and I think we all, when we recognize that, it makes for a better community. It makes for a better family atmosphere, and I think we all benefit when we do what we can to keep local talent here. And I think that's what the school does. It gives us the opportunity to give them choices economically.
Well, our region is different. our region at one time was based on agriculture almost entirely, and now it's not. Even though agriculture still plays a major role in this whole area here, but we now have medical services and we have tourism and all those things that go with it, and light manufacturing, and all those require folks that maybe they don't necessarily have to have a degree, a BS degree, or but they can do that with an associate or even a more of a technological program, and serve the community. And I think that is very important to be able to do that.
There's a lot more to education than just sitting in a classroom. And it's just important to me to say that arts play a huge role, particularly they play a huge role in my life, and I think they're important in everyone's life.
It's no doubt in my mind that the importance of Somerset Community College being willing to work with us and come here. You really can't put a dollar value on the importance it is for our students and our families to be able to have their students to come here on this campus and get their education to at least 2 years. We know that these classes that they're going to have here are going to be able to transfer to any 4-year college that they go to.
So yeah, the only other thing I would like to say is, it was instilled in me and my brothers by our parents how important it is to have an education, how important it is to have a good work ethic, and to be a contributing citizen. So I thank them so much for what they instilled in us at a young age, and I think what the college did, all the college did, is come along and reinforce those good traits that they tried to instill in us, and we try to pass those along even today to my kids, to other kids, to anybody that's willing to listen. That you can be more than what maybe you think you can be.
Somerset has been a big part of that because you're here, and we love it, and we want you to stay here. We want you to grow here. And I don't know what else that I could say that would help anybody and everybody that's listening to what I've got to say, to bring their kids here and let them get their education at least 2 years before they go anyplace else. Because you go off, you're going to pay more in most situations for a student to get an education than they will if they're staying at home, maybe got a part-time job at home, and then getting their classes here. And I really love this campus and what all that Somerset Community College has done for our city and county.
So I think that SCC is just a win-win for everybody. And they certainly provide you with something that nobody can ever take away.
Well, when I got hired in 1997, of course, Joanne had been here for many years, and she was essentially the expert in advising. And she was the go-to person. If anyone had any questions, you would go to Joanne and check on classes, where they transferred to. She knew all the ins and outs, all the details, and probably being here as long as I've been here, I don't know anyone who knew advising as well as Joanne. And she really was dedicated, though, to helping the student. That was her goal. She didn't do it for herself. She didn't do it for anyone else other than helping that student pursue their goal. And she really kind of relished in that and took pride in that. And I always really admired that about her.
The one thing that stands out the most with Joanne is her love of students and her willingness to help. She always put herself second and the students first. She came in first, she left last, she did whatever she could to help students. That's what I remember most about Joanne.
Joanne always wanted to help our students out. So I just remember that first and foremost about Joanne. She was always looking for ways to help our students. And I remember so many times her talking about buying a book for a student that didn't have money to buy one. And they would have no idea. Sometimes I don't even think she told them she bought it. But if they signed up for a class and they didn't have money, she would go to the bookstore and pay for a book and make sure that student got it. And I don't know if they ever even knew that she did that for them.
I would be remiss if I did not mention Joanne's story. Now, I didn't know Joanne while I was a student at SEC, but after I finished my college and came back home, I got to know Joanne through our BPW club. That's Business and Professional Women's Club. And Joanne was always such a sweetheart. She was a great mentor. She always made sure that students had what they needed, even if it came out of her own pocket. And she would also help us, BPW, with the awarding of scholarships each year to SCC females.
Joanne passed away in March, and the following commencement, which was in May, just a couple of months later, her division wanted to do something special for her at commencement. So they had white carnations dipped in blue, and if y'all remember anything about Joanne, she was a big UK fan. So they had these white carnations dipped in blue, and they left an empty chair. And Joanne was a faculty member at the very front of the line because she'd been here for a number of years. So she was always there at the front leading the faculty in. So they left her chair empty, and as they all walked in, they laid a carnation on her chair that evening for commencement. And that was just a special thing to do to remember Joanne.
That emergency fund named after her, it was her. She was the emergency fund for so many students when she was here, and for that legacy to live on in her name, to honor what she did, like I said, behind the scenes that nobody knew about, it's just a perfect way to honor her.
Well, I think knowing the way that she's dealt with students, the way that she loved her students, the way that she wanted them to succeed, there can't really be a better way to utilize and remember Joanne than having a student emergency fund, because that's what she dedicated her life to helping students move forward. And if this fund can in some way help students and help them succeed in whatever means, whether it's helping them with expenses, helping them with school, helping them with gas money, it's kind of what she really was all about. Just making sure that they can move through life and then end up having a better life, because that's what she wanted for everyone.